Full time. Doing gang things. Living super clean. That done came up. Can't control us. One time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control us. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control us. Look at you done came up now. Get it how you live, mess the game up now. Ain't messing with yoga, but get the flame up. Hey, used to be Toby, but got your name back now. I see ya, paid under pressure. 25 lighters got them all on the trestle. If it ain't for you then. If you a lame or a sucker, wanna dress you then. Grown up now, bump the childish ways. Got a wife and a bunch of kids to raise. Punch a clock side hustle or a business you endure to ensure that all the bills is paid. Slow clap for your homeboy. Could've turned out like your homeboy. Been on the same block, cooking up the same rock on the cell block lot with your homeboy. But no, you had vision, you had goal. Brand new you on the old time road. Take care of home where you bust your low. Black men don't teach screaming bump the hoe. Real men talk, real king ways. Still in captivity, but minds ain't slave. Got a little wisdom, boy, you PD grade. Giving out the knowledge on the stoop these days. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the folk that have moved up. Even if you had a slow start screwed up. Used to gang bang, now homie brewed up. Had a little plan, I had them blew up. Look at you like a man right now. Dressed to the T, smelling like a grand right now. And you ain't got nothing from a handout now. Just faith and hard work gets it planned out now. You could've took a bunch of dusty rolls. The hand dealt with a bunch of cards to fold. To stay hot while the world is freezing cold. The same plot, but the story's never old. Slow clap for your kinfolk. Could've been asking what your info. Prosecutor could be trying to do you in for the 2020 twins, so you passing out the info. But no, you had purpose, you had plans. I ain't throwing nothing on Mercedes Benz. Won't impress y'all, don't need no fans. That ain't my God, who is that man? This real men talk, real king ways. Still in captivity, but minds ain't slave. Got a little wisdom, boy, you peak these grades. Giving out the knowledge on the stoop these days. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. Yeah, real man. Sheesh. Yeah. Doing cane things. Living super clean. That it came up.
1 time for my king doing king things. Mom these hoes cause he know he got a good thing. I submit and I cook and I clean and I never hold back on that wop. I'ma let it rain. Made me honest, I got a ring. All praises to the most high, let it sing. A real man able, sister never came. And I ain't going nowhere, this is not a game. Look at you, girl, you're lonely right now. Settling for bums instead of men the most high. He provide and protect so he get our respect. And he leading us aboard when them chariots fly. I don't really think you hear me though. You can't cross this bridge on some billy goats. Let them save you in the end like a Seminole. BS help me, shout it, let the silly go.
1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up.
Shalom and shalom, sisters and cousins, and praise the Lord, saints. Hold on, I cannot hear myself. That's gonna drive me crazy. Oh my gosh. Check one. Okay, there we go. All right, shalom and shalom. Happy new moon to you if you are observing new moon tonight. Happy new year to you if tonight is your new year. All praises to the Most High. All right, y'all. I got a few good things to talk about, but first and foremost, just in case you're like, who is this lady on my screen? Please allow me to introduce myself. I go by Miss Mono's World in these content creators. She's Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. I'm live on TikTok right now, by the way. If you are not on the YouTube, please head over to the YouTube at Monologue Magad, MONOLOG MAGAD. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live at the House of Mono. Okay, speaking of Mono, shout out to my oh so sexy, oh so delicious husband. I'm trying to find his thing here. I don't see it, but Monologue with Dad, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the likes. Shout out to my audience on TikTok. Okay. Let's see what else. Oh, shout out to my audience on Messiah TV. Like, please download the Messiah TV app. It's on your Roku, your Fire Sticks, your smart TVs. It's not just my show. I am there live every Thursday, but there's tons of great entertainment, Bible-based, and just not vulgar entertainment. It's family friendly. Let's say it like that. It's family friendly entertainment. You can watch it. You and the kids could watch it. The kids could watch it by themselves. Y'all could watch it together. So just make sure you download the Messiah TV app. All right. So a few things, right? Like our main topic is you're not even basic. So we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to that. But before we do, just a few things I'd like to cover. Thank you guys so much for the likes. Just a few things I'd like to discuss. The first one being, it's sad, okay? It's sad. I don't care what anyone says. Anytime someone loses a life, it is sad, okay? However, the internet is not feeling very much sympathy for Mr. Telvin Osborne, because this young Black man who is no longer with us on this side was shot by his white girlfriend. She said in the 911 call, she said that they had came home from the club. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning. Well, the 911 call says like 4:20 or something like that. So it's 4 something in the morning. They just came home from the club. They supposedly got in an argument. Thank you, Mug Life. They supposedly got in an argument, right? No. She didn't say on 911 they got in an argument. On the 911 call, she said they came home. She was cleaning her gun while she was drunk at 4 o'clock in the morning and accidentally shot him in the chest, and he passed. And as they were investigating, they realized that there was an argument. There was a little tense conversation before the shooting, and then he was shot. Okay. Shalom, and shalom. Then he was shot. Okay. So they had this intense conversation for some reason while she was cleaning her gun, whatever. And at first there was no arrest. They were just saying it was accidental. Okay. And then the other part of this is the woman's father, Hannah Cobb is her name. Her father is a police officer in the county where this happened. So, right, that's why everybody was saying like there's no way that she shouldn't have been arrested at first, and there's no way you're cleaning your gun at 4 o'clock in the morning and just accidentally shoot someone. So, of course, after some pressure from social media and everything else, she's been arrested. She's being charged with involuntary manslaughter. So we'll see how that's going. The other side of this story, though, is that while Mr. Osborne was alive and well among us, he made some very, very hateful and disparaging permanent social media comments about his preference for white women over Black women. And now let me just say this, okay? I am a happily married Black woman to a Black man, okay? I would not have it any other way. That being said, listen, people have their preferences, okay? People like their preferences. I don't care for mint chocolate chip ice cream. I don't like it. I prefer strawberry. That's cool, okay? But what I'm not going to do is sit up there and disparage the people who do like mint chocolate chip. And well, that's what this gentleman did. He actually made a tweet or that said that he would rather have sex with a dog than have sex with a white woman. and the dog has to be white too. And so, and that was among a bunch of other remarks that he just made about white women being better than black women and just a bunch of hateful rhetoric. And so the consensus is like, black women, this ain't our business, let the preference deal with him. What's so crazy is his family had to start a GoFundMe. Okay. His family had to start a GoFundMe. And I'm going to tell you right now, like the comments under the GoFundMe are just, it's wild. I'm going to say thank you for the follow. I'm going to say, for me personally, I get the sentiment. Like you went through your life and you decided to use your have sex with a dog than a black woman. I'm sorry, I don't know what I said, but yes, that's what he said. He would rather have sex with a dog than a black woman, and the dog should be white. That's what he said. This man exerted his energy and his freedom of speech to say things to make black women, to devalue black women. And I don't care about, I'm gonna be honest with you, like I don't care, about his past. I don't care about, oh, this person hurt him, that person. I really don't care about any of that. As mature adults, we should be beyond that. We should be past that. So I feel bad for his family. Let me say that. I feel bad for his family because his family is like, now they're trying to raise money to bury him. And who wants to donate to that? Like, I hope that and I hate to sound like cold-hearted when I say this, but I really do hope that his preference is taking care of him, because it's okay. It's this is like what I'm saying? This is a tricky subject here, but listen, you like who you like, okay? And that's fine. But you don't have to put down what you don't prefer. Okay, and that's the point. He could have just went on with his white woman and they biracial children, and they could have just lived happily ever after. There was no need for him expressing those views towards black women, especially black women as a whole. I mean, come on, like all the black women? You hate every black woman? And it's the same thing with, when black women get on the internet and talk about black men as well. Same thing, same rules apply. I don't feel any differently about him doing it than I feel about when black women doing it. It's just so happened that, he finds himself in this situation. So again, what I'm saying? It's always sad when somebody loses their lives, but above all, like, I just feel sorry for his family because now they have to deal with the aftermath of that. All right. Oh, this next story, let me tell y'all. Crazy. The governor of Wisconsin, Mr. Tony Evers, has decided to, in a budget proposal for IVF, like they're trying to they're coming up with a budget so they can initiate some laws regarding IVF and same-sex couples becoming parents. And in this language, they're trying to remove the term mother and father and husband and wife, and they would like to refer to the mother as the inseminated person. I'm gonna let y'all sit with that for a moment. Inseminated person. I hope you know what inseminated means. How can I say this and be clean? To be inseminated means that someone's semen has been put inside of you by whatever means, okay? But to refer to a mother as an inseminated person to accommodate same-sex couples is wild. As a mother, it is insulting. And I'm just like, see, here's where your rights start to infringe upon mine. Um, you have the right in this country now, if you want to be two women and you want to use IVF and use another man's sperm, because you still need a man's sperm to make a baby. So, but if you want to use IVF and you want to use a man's sperm, and you know what I'm saying, that's what you want to do. This country has given you the right to do that. But what you don't have the right to do is to reduce every woman who has given birth and has carried a child to the term inseminated person. Okay, and what else got me is this is the same group. Of course, this is, you're talking about your left, your far leftist or whatever, but these are the same people that have a problem with women being called female because they feel it reduces them to their biological action. What do you think inseminator person reduces you to? I mean, and that just sounds gross. I'm just like, that sounds gross. It sounds like you were at a party and had a good time and someone left you a farewell gift. I'm sorry, that's what it sounds like to me. Um so of course, they're fighting this. This is not going over smoothly as the case may be. They are fighting about this. So, we'll see we'll see what happens, but I honestly feel like this is why we are in the position we're in right now politically, because the left has just went so far left. And you know how you just take something way too far and then you have to do such an overcorrect? I kind of feel like that's where we are now. It's like such a overcorrect trying to undo what has been done as far as liberties, as far as the destruction of the nuclear family, the tearing down of what we considered a family has been so far done that now to correct it, some people are just going totally to the other side. But we'll see what happens with that. Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. So when we go live here at the House of Mono, history repeats itself and we are living in the 1950s. Please don't say that. Please do not say that. I think about this all the time. I was watching something and they asked this black person, if you could choose any other time in history to be alive, when would you choose? And they were just sitting there like, because as a black person, whatever time you're living in is probably the best as far as how black people are treated. Like, for a black person living today, I I don't want to be a black person in any other time period because it was worse than it is now. You see what I'm saying? So like, even if you take a black person in the 60s, what was before that was worse than what they're living now. So that's you know what I'm saying? That's never a valid question. Okay, so let's get to our main topic. I'm sorry, y'all. I didn't bring no tissue. And it is allergy season here in Atlanta. I don't know if y'all know yet. It was like 74 degrees yesterday. It was only one day, but that was enough for the pollen to be like, hey, how y'all doing? All right, so our main topic, you're not even basic. Okay. And by not even, I mean like not even, okay? Uh I want to take my time with this, okay? I want to take my time with this so I don't like rush it or you know what I'm saying, do anything wrong or whatever. Um okay. So, I want to talk to y'all about a historical figure. If you paid attention, thank you, Maggie Life. Thank you so much, sis. If you paid attention in history class during the study of the ancient European monarchs, then you probably are very familiar with the man known as Louis the 14th. Let me pull him up for you. This is Louis the 14th right here. Thank you so much. Thank you, honey. My gosh. You know, I have the best family. I don't know y'all. Like, the men in our family are awesome. No, my husband is an awesome father. He really is. Okay, so this is Mr. Louis the 14th, okay? He was a king in France during the 17th century. He ruled France from 1643 to 1715, okay? And what makes Louis the 14th stand out so much as far as monarchs, as far as French monarchs of that time, was the fact that he built a very extravagant palace called Versailles. I don't know how many of you, I'm sure you've heard of Versailles. Like, unless you just slept through history class or you did not watch season 7, episode 7 of Paradise. And sidebar, because this is actually where I got a little bit of inspiration from. Louis the 14th is your ancestor. Get out of here. That is so cool. That's really where I got the inspiration from this from. And I have been seeing articles about Versailles, and then they used Versailles on the last episode of Paradise. I'm not going to spoil it if you haven't seen it, but yeah. Okay. So you're talking about a very extravagant, very just luxurious, over the top, especially for its time estate. Like, if you just look at the screen, I mean, you could just see the size of it. And mind you, it started out as just a hunting lodge, okay? It started out as just a hunting lodge. And you have all this, I mean, it's so much to go through. Like, I don't have time to click through all this stuff so you can see it. But if you ever get a chance, you can just Google Versailles. You can see just the luxuriousness, the opulence. I mean, we're talking about Italian marble, Persian silk, just the finest of the material that was available at that time, okay? And so you can imagine the money, the expense, the thought that was going into this designing. Let me get my words together. The money that was going into designing Versailles. Okay. And not to mention Louis the 14th himself referred to himself as the Sun King because he felt that the world should revolve around him. That is part of the reason why he built Versailles, to accommodate his court, and so that whoever he wanted in his court could be available for him whenever he wanted them to be. And get this, people wanted to be there. People would fight and contest and just get into these bitter rivalries just to be a part of his court. There was a certain dress code. Women weren't allowed to wear. I forgot what the garment is called, but it's this one particular garment that women used to wear that he hated this garment, and no woman in his court was allowed to wear it. And they did not wear it. Okay. I mean, he was like that guy. He was like the Beyonce of his time, if I could say that. It was so bad. He had what was called a waking up ceremony and a going down ceremony, okay? So every morning at 8:30, his royal guard would come in and wake him up, okay? And then there would be about 15 people that would come into his bedroom to watch him get out the bed, use the bathroom, and start to get dressed. He summoned people for this, and they came to it. They would fight each other for the spot. Like, this was considered a coveted position to be able to take part in the king's getting up and going down ceremonies. The man's schedule, his day was scheduled like to the T. Like, if you go to the Versailles website, you can see all the history of his reign and the history of Versailles and stuff. So the man's day is scheduled like down to the T. Okay. He put so much detail into this through the most lavish parties. There's a story of one of his courtiers who was his minister of finance. And the finance minister, before Versailles was completed, the finance minister threw a party for the king. But this party was like big and over the top. And like I said, Versailles hadn't been built yet. Okay. So everybody's at the party oohing and eyeing over the finance minister instead of the king. And he was that kind of king that, like, when he was there, he demanded all the oxygen in the room. You dare not even consider thinking about anybody else. Okay. So um they throw the party, everybody's oohing and eyeing. The party is a success, everyone thinks, until a few days later when the finance minister is arrested for stealing money from the treasury that the king directed him to take. Can y'all believe that? That's how bad he was, okay? And then turned around and used the design from the party as an inspiration for Versailles. Hired the same architects, the same landscapers, and everything, okay? That's how, I don't want to say diabolical because that word is overused, but that's just like how much of an evil villain he was, okay? And so this man puts all this thought, all this money, all this time. I mean, no expense was spared to building Versailles, but they forgot a bathroom. There is not working plumbing in Versailles at this time. And I don't know what you might be thinking, right? Like, oh, it's the 17th century. You know, they didn't have indoor plumbing. They didn't have, toilets. It wasn't a thing. And you might well think that. Except when you go to research the Taj Mahal, which was built by Shah Jahan in India during the Mughal Empire, Mughal Empire. You can go and look that up. Shah Jahan was ruling, they were concurrent rulers, okay? And he had built a temple to his favorite wife. The man had multiple wives, but his favorite wife, I forgot her first name, Matala, I want to say Matala Mahal. His favorite wife had passed in childbirth. And so as a monument to her, he built the Taj Mahal. Same thing, elaborate, beautiful, just, oh my gosh, gold everywhere, just all kind of jewels encrusted in this place. The Taj Mahal is beautiful, but they had a bathroom. Okay. And I know you might be like, well, what are the bathrooms, girl? Who cares if they got bathrooms? I'm bringing this out to talk about how we get so caught up on what's on the outside that we forget to deal with the basics and the stuff that's on the inside. What do I mean by that? Just like Louis XIV, who took so much care to make sure that he was adorned and that he looked royal and that everything else around him looked the part. A lot of us, once we come into the knowledge of the Bible or any kind of knowledge for that reason, like if you have been enlightened to something that you were not aware of before, sometimes we get so caught up in that new knowledge or this new thing that we think that we have that we forget to go back and take care of the basics. Okay. And so when it comes to us who are Bible believers, once we find out the truth and once we find out the degree to which we are really supposed to be being obedient, we focus on those things that are easier for us to do. It might be easy for you to dress modestly, right? You may not have an issue at all with what you think is dressing modestly. Let me say that because that is open for interpretation, okay? But for what you think is dressing modestly, that might be an easy thing for you to do. Okay. So you'll focus on that. And that's what you hone in on. And every woman that comes around you, you're checking out her clothes. And every video you look at, you looking to see, look, I see her knees. I see her elbows. Nope. Look at her. She's showing her neck. She's a whore. She's immodest. She's this, she's that. And you'll hone in on that. Meanwhile, your life is falling apart behind the scenes. The bills ain't paid. The kids is running around acting up. If you do have a husband, he's barely holding on. You don't even have the basic stuff down. We want to come and we want to put on an elaborate ceremony and we want to have all this pomp and circumstance, but we can't be kind to our brother or sister? We want everyone to think that we are superior to them because we have acquired something that they maybe don't have, or we feel like we understand better than them. But when it comes to the natural side of life, these are the things we avoid because it's not easy for us. What do I mean by that? A lot of us struggle financially. Okay. And we hear the stories all the time. People are out here struggling to make ends meet, struggling to pay rent, struggling to stay um off the streets, keep food in the house, paying daycare. Like, I get it. Those bills pile up, right? And so sometimes instead of focusing on what we can do to fix this natural situation in front of us that actually takes work, we will divert our attention to a spiritual matter because this doesn't take work. Right? It doesn't take any work. Here's the law. The law already says that we are supposed to observe a Sabbath, right? And so the Bible tells us not to argue over Sabbaths. Like, as long as they're keeping the Sabbath, cool. Okay, but some of us who feel like our Sabbath is better than the other Sabbath, we'll hone in on that and we'll make that our entire personality and our entire argument because that's easier for me to focus on than the fact that I need to get on my grind and provide more for my children. It is easier to run away. And I know this because I used to be a runner. Like, I used to be a runner. Listen, you be in a relationship with me soon as something go wrong and I don't like it, I'm gone. I'm out of here. I ain't got to deal with this. Who is you anyway? Right? So I understand the mindset of a runner. And because some of us cannot afford to run physically, we will run spiritually. You might can't afford to pack your bags and move to New York or Atlanta or LA or Dallas or whatever other city that you don't live in. You might can't afford to do that. Okay, but you could take, you know what I'm saying? You could take yourself a little mental break and convince yourself that, oh, it's more important for me to focus on the work and hear what I'm saying. I am not saying not to read your word, not to pray. I'm not saying that at all. Okay? But faith without works is dead. Okay? Yes, practice your faith, but then, ma'am, sis, cousin, you need to get up and work. Okay? This is why I be warning y'all so bad about becoming single mothers, because it is a very hard and very traumatizing time in your life. And I feel like even if you're financially prepared for it, being a single mother is a burden. It's a burden. Being a single mother is a burden, okay? A child is a blessing to two parents. Right? It's a blessing to two parents. You have some kind of balance. You have a teammate there. Two is better than one, and a three-strand cord is not quickly broken. Okay. You have a foundation, you're building something, you have a force, y'all are moving. But when you are a single parent and you're doing it by yourself and you're struggling and you're barely paying the rent, it gets hard to feel like you're doing anything positive and productive. And I'm not saying that I don't understand, but what I'm saying is, ma'am, sis, cousin, the answer is not to try to use the Bible and the Most High as an escape from your responsibilities. That's what I'm trying to say. You are still responsible for your natural needs. You are still responsible for your children's natural needs, okay? I don't know how many of y'all took psychology, but even in high school they talked to us about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Shelter, food, uh what is it? Hold on, let me find it for you. Cuz this is a thing, right? And, I get it that we always can't trust science or whatever, but I think this is pretty solid. Um, Psychological safety, love and belonging, esteem, and self-actualization. So these are like the things that you would need to barely survive, okay? And so at the bottom, let me share this screen with y'all so y'all can see what I'm talking about here. Let's see. Okay. Because at the very bottom of the hierarchy is your physiological needs. These are your most basic needs for survival: food, water, air, the stuff that you absolutely need to provide. Right above that is safety, security, health, protection. This includes shelter, okay? This includes being able to safely go back and forth as you need to. Love and belonging, to feel accepted and loved by friends, family, and romantic partners. Your esteem needs, the need for respect from others and from yourself. Okay. And your self actualization is a need to fully realize your potential. So, this is like the basis of just what you need to function like at a healthy level. And unfortunately, again, a lot of us get so wrapped up in our new knowledge, our new learning, that we forget to go back to the basics of things. But now, shalom and shalom, sis. Thank you for joining me. And please understand what I'm saying, okay? I am in no way saying to neglect your studies. I am not saying to neglect the Bible. I am not saying to neglect your prayer life. Back in church when I was growing up, there was a saying, you're so spiritual that you're no earthly good, okay? And these are the kind of people that you cannot have just a straight up conversation with. Anytime you talk to them about anything, it's, yeah, praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Jesus is coming. Then you walk up to them, how you doing today? Say, I'm blessed of the Lord, ma'am. I just said, how you doing? You know, how you feel about the Falcons? Well, I don't know. If God wants them to win, then they're going to win. What? Like, you can't just have a normal conversation with you, because everything has to be, well, the Lord said, and the Lord told me, and somebody asked you out for lunch. Well, I'm going to have to see what the Lord says about that. It's just too much. It's too much. We get it. It's hard to have a regular conversation with you because you refuse to face reality. Way, Bible thumpers, way. You refuse to face reality and be grounded in reality. And I feel like this is a problem with a lot of Black people, but since I'm just talking to my sisters, let's deal with it, okay? Instead of being honest with ourselves, locking into what's going on in front of us, we'll focus everything, not even focus. We'll just try to make everything a spiritual matter when it's really not. Okay? Um especially not especially when y'all get in these relationships and they don't work out. All of a sudden it's some kind of deep spiritual matter, and there's some kind of deep spiritual work going on, and the devil is trying to keep him from me, and I know God said for us to be together, and this is just the enemy attacking me, and blah blah blah, when everyone around you can just clearly see that he just don't like you like that. He never liked you like that. There was red flags the whole time, and we was all trying to warn you, and you didn't listen. But now that you single with baby number 1, 2, or 3, all of a sudden you claim you got all this spiritual insight, when the fact of the matter is, if you would have just faced the reality of the situation before you let him get you pregnant 1, 2, 3, 4 times, you wouldn't be in this situation in the first place. Not facing reality just causes you to, it just leads you into more problems that you're now going to have to run away from, if you understand what I'm saying. Brianna says shalom and shalom, sis. Thank you for joining me. Because if I would have faced the reality in the first place about my situation, I wouldn't be in the situation. Okay. I understand that our children need to learn the law of the Most High. Absolutely they do. Absolutely they do. Um, as soon as our children, you know, were old enough to even begin to comprehend, we started teaching them the law. Okay, so I'm not saying that they don't need to learn the law, but ma'am, sis, cousin, they also need to learn how to read and write and do math. to make it in this world. See, the natural world is very real, okay? And unfortunately, you need maybe not fortunately, unfortunately, but you need certain skills. You need to be able to process certain thoughts in order to make a living out here. And if you refuse to educate your children, all you're doing is returning them back to the same problem that you currently are trying to run from. Okay. I don't care what happened to you in your education. I don't care if you dropped out. I'm sorry that school was traumatizing to you. And I'm sorry that they lied to us about everything. I'm sorry that school was one big old lie. But the fact of the matter is, in order for your children to go out here and to make any kind of decent living, they need to have certain skills. There are ways to educate them and still keep them in the truth. You don't have to compromise your beliefs in order to educate your children. Okay. Um, and some of us, some of y'all, some of us, Hondo, Shalom and Shalom, thank you for joining me. Some of y'all, some of us could do more as far as being hands-on with our children. You could do more. You just refuse to let go of the status symbols that, again, give the appearance that everything is okay with you, when on the inside, you know better. You know better. Like, you could be homeschooling right now. Even with that, you could be putting extra time into your child's education. Okay. And I'm not talking to y'all that's gotta work. Please. I get it. I'm talking to those who could be doing better and are not. They have to learn the practical things in life to survive. We live on earth. Exactly. And see, this is what I'm saying. We live here. Okay. This is the realm that we live in. These are the rules that we have to follow. No check is falling out of the sky. And here's another thing we need to understand. At the end, I'm not even going to say at the end of the day. I understand that we stress brotherhood and sisterhood, especially amongst Bible believers. Like, we're supposed to have each other back. We're supposed to be there for each other. But the Bible talks about a man in need not having many friends. Okay. We all out here trying to make it. Like, we're all out here trying to make it. We're all out here trying to get our families to the next level. Like, we are all working on the same goals, okay? And see, this is the conversation that nobody wants to have. But ma'am, sis, cousin, the time to prepare for that is while you are young. It's not to wait until you're burdened with 2 and 3 kids and now you want to try to go to school while you living with somebody else. And all praises if you can't stay with your mama, but why should your mother have to deal with that because you don't have your stuff together? That's not her responsibility. Now, don't get me wrong. If y'all choose generational living and she wants to support you, that's great. But sometimes that's not the case. And then what happens, and as wrong as it may seem, I know you might want to be like, well, that's my mom. She's supposed to be there for me. Da 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 da. No, she raised you. Okay, she raised you, and then you made a series of choices. And so now, instead of you dealing with those series of choices, it's easier for you to sit online and talk about how you were traumatized and how your mother abused you and she didn't do this and she didn't do that. Even though she may have done the best she could, she didn't do this, she didn't do that. And that's why I am the way I am right now. And I don't know what you think is supposed to happen, but if you look anything like me, you are not of the complexion to be getting online and telling people that you got mental issues and can they help you? Because ain't nobody trying to hear that. They use mom as a crutch. Exactly. Or my dad left and he wasn't there for me and I have all these issues because of my dad and that's why I can't be in a relationship. And you're always going to find an excuse. Okay, and now it's one thing if you're going through something, please. I get it. We all have those times in our lives. Okay, when your world may be falling apart. That may very well be true. But for the most part, the reason that a lot of your worlds are falling apart is because you're not paying attention to it. It's easier for you to say, I know y'all gonna get mad at me for saying this, but it is easier for you to say, oh, I have to be at church 3 nights a week. I have to be at church 4 nights a week. So I can't work that second job that I might need. A lot of y'all use God and church as a diversion from handling your business. Ma'am, sis cousin, the Most High did not call for you and your children to be hungry while you are able bodied to be out here making money. Okay. I'm sorry that he left you. I'm sorry you're in the situation that you're in. I'm here to tell you, though, that you're not the first or the last single mother. You're not the first or the last woman to get in that position. And I usually hate to say things like that because it does sound very dismissive. Okay, but at the end of the day, we all gotta grow up. We all gotta grow up. You put on your big girl panties and you made the decision to get you where you are, right? And so the answer to that is not jumping into chapter 20 of your perceived salvation. You gotta go back and start all over again. We gotta repent. We gotta restore some decency and order in this place. If you take a look at Titus, when Paul was writing, that's what he was talking about. Like, hey, okay, let's go back to the basics and get some order in this church. When he talks about being sober, being vigilant, taking care of the church, when he gives directions on teaching the older men and the older women, teaching them teaching the younger what to do. You would think looking at this stuff, oh, this should be like basic common sense. But it's not, at least not for us. And I say this all the time. We're not that far removed from slavery. Then after slavery, what do you have? You have Jim Crow, you have segregation. I mean, after Reconstruction. So at no time in this country's history have we as Black people just been able to have a resurgence of the Black family. You may see it among the middle class, you may see it among the Black bourgeois, but as we know, those are not the majority of people. Those aren't the majority of people in any race. Okay. The majority is not in the middle class. The majority is not in your upper class. Okay. And so please, someone tell me when between slavery and now have Black people been given parenting classes without without CPS being called first. You understand what I'm saying? We are basically learning as we go. And gosh, especially for those of us who did not grow up in church. Okay. And one thing I will always give church credit for is teaching the basics, teaching decency and order, teaching how to balance keeping God first, then your family, and then everything else. You learn that balance in church. You learn that sometimes, okay, I can't make it to this service because I have to work, but I have to take care of my family, and this is my obligation as well. You learn this. You learn how to treat each other with a certain decency and a certain respect. People wonder why there are so many rules and so much etiquette to keep to keep anything going. There has to be rules. What's the first thing any government does when they seek to establish themselves? They make their rules, they make their constitution. If you go and try to start like a nonprofit organization today, the first thing they're going to ask you for who's in charge and what are your rules? Because what you can't run anything without any kind of order. It turns into chaos. If nobody knows what they're supposed to be doing, when they're supposed to be doing it, nobody knows their roles. Everybody's just running around and doing everything. When Henry Ford came up with the what am I trying to say? The factory line. That saved so much time and money because every man knew his job. You have one job. You do your one job so the next person can do their job. As good as you do your job is as good as the next person can do their job. And so now we're able to get more done because everyone understands what they're supposed to be doing and there's an order to everything. We have become experts at talking about how a woman is supposed to be. We have become experts at quoting Proverbs 31. We have even become experts at quoting Titus 2. I mean, any Bible verse that you can think of that pertains to something that we're passionate about, we have no problem quoting that to you. But then how are you living that out? Like in Leviticus, there are laws concerning hygiene, combing your hair, your appearance, keeping yourself clean. There are laws concerning that, but it's easier for you to focus on somebody if they're wearing their fringes or not. It's easier for you to focus on what's on somebody else's plate or not than it is for you to focus on yourself and your state of your hygiene. I know I'm not supposed to say that, but y'all act like when y'all go out here and tell people that you are Bible believers, you ain't even got to say that, even as a Black person. Okay, when you present your Black face to this world, you act like people are not looking at you and making assumptions about every other Black person. In general. Don't come at me with everybody doesn't do that. In general, yes, they do, because I know I do. Because if I see a white man in a trench coat and a baseball cap pulled over his eyes, it's suspicious to me. It's suspicious to me. I don't care. I've seen this before and it did not result in anything positive. Therefore, my mind is set to be alarmed when I see this thing. It's the same thing with us. You know, and listen, I'm not here to get into the bonnet debate. I'm not, because I'm gonna tell you why I won't get into the bonnet debate, because I know how hard our hair is. Okay, I know how hard hair is. I'm not saying you should wear it everywhere, but me personally, a little grocery store run. Okay, you know, anything beyond that, you're embarrassing us. Okay, you're embarrassing us. And this is the thing, right? Very suspicious. And I won't hesitate to lock my doors when you walk by my car. Okay, like you've got to understand that as much as you want to just hyper focus on one thing, it is a collective picture. That's why they call it the big picture. It is a collective picture of things that have to be taken care of. Okay, it's just like if you're constantly sweeping the outside of your house, but you never clean the inside. The inside is horrible. So when people come over your house, you only ever want them to look at the outside. You will only ever host barbecues and garden parties because you don't want people in your house looking around and judging you. And the fact of the matter is, a lot of y'all's people, like a lot of you as people, are like that. Like you can sit outside, you can sit on the porch, you know, we can talk from an outside, but when it comes to anything on the inside, my thoughts, my feelings, my ideals, it's cobwebs and dust balls because I haven't been developing my inside. I can get online and preach to you about what's wrong with the modern woman and why these independent Black women is messing it up for everybody else. But how does my husband feel about me? How do my kids feel about me? Would my husband praise me? Would my husband say, yes, I'm so happy. My wife is such a blessing. She does this, she does that. Or is your husband sitting off in the corner smirking at you because he knows you're lying and that's not how you live? You can go out and be kind to everyone else and everyone else's children, but how do your own children feel about you? Like, what would your kids say about you? Would they tell people, oh, my mommy's nice to everyone else except for me? It's just like building a castle with no bathroom. People would walk down the hall. There's a part of a side called the Hall of Mirrors. And people would walk down this very elaborate, very ornate, very over the top, very extravagant hallway and pull off to a corner and relieve themselves. And it was so bad that there was a constant odor at the place. And so how many of y'all are living with a constant odor? And while it may not be like an actual physical smell that we can smell, it's an attitude that people can feel when they come upon you. It'll feel like you're being very defensive. It'll feel like a very strong wall is up. You're not very open to anything more than small talk. You don't want to have any in-depth conversations. And as soon as you do, there's vitriol, there's anger, there's bitterness that's coming out. What good is it for you to possess all this knowledge? What good is it for you to be so studied in the word of God if people cannot even bear your attitude for you to be able to witness to them? Someone could be on their last leg. I mean, they could really just be about to jump off the proverbial bridge. And if you were the last person there, would they turn to you for help? Have you presented yourself in a way? Have you conducted yourself in a way that is that could lead someone? Because I'm not saying it's all your fault. Like, hey, some things are just gonna happen. But have you conducted yourself in such a way that would lead someone to think, maybe I should ask? Because what I will never understand and what still perplexes me to this day, why walk around claiming to carry the banner of obedience and faith and do the exact opposite? What are you hoping to accomplish? I mean, because all the Most High is going to do is spit you out. He talks about, I'd rather you be hot or cold, but if you're lukewarm, I'll spit you out. You're of no use. All you are is just a sounding cymbal and a tingling brass. You're of no use to anyone. You are ineffective. And then to feel as if you are in a position to lead, guide, and direct when your life is a mess, that's not, you're not helping anyone. You're not even helping yourself. If anything, you're making them what, twice the demon you are? It We cannot continue to play with our spiritual life um as if it is of no consequence. And here's what I don't think we understand: the way that we conduct ourselves naturally affects how we feel spiritually. Okay? When you get up and think about it. I don't know about y'all, but I'm a morning shower person unless I'm gonna like work out or do my hair or something. I'll usually hop right up and get in the shower. Get up, get in the shower, get dressed, do something with myself, so that I feel like something. Even though I'm a stay-at-home mom and I'm still homeschooling, I still need to feel awake in order to get my day started. Some of y'all don't want to pay attention to the small things. You'll just focus on, oh, well, I'm broke and I can't pay my bills. Woe is me. I'm not going to do anything else. I'm just going to sit here and be depressed. And that's not serving anything at all. If anything, you're just making your situation worse. Pull yourself up. Like, wake up. Nobody is coming to do it for you. And here's what y'all don't understand. Y'all be quick to say a man, a man, a man. A man that finds you in a vulnerable position like that, 9 times out of 10, has no intention of lifting you up out of that vulnerable position. He would just like to see what he could take advantage of while you were there. I'm just going to be honest with you. Nobody's saying for you to wake up tomorrow and have it all together, but are you even interested in trying? I'm not saying to neglect your outer appearance. Your outer appearance is very important. Okay. I'm not saying to neglect it at all. Your inner you is more important than your appearance alone. But your appearance is still very important. But the problem is y'all place too much emphasis on the outside because that's easier to deal with. It's easy for me to, it's easy for some of us to do our hair. It's easy for some of us to put on makeup. It's easy for some of us to throw on clothes and hide what's going on in here. But you're never going to have any deep, meaningful, real, true relationships because you won't let anyone in. And that be the problem. That be the problem. Like, it's all good at first. When you first, meet a new sister, y'all are friends, everything's cool, y'all are hanging out. But when it comes time for a deeper conversation, you not having that. Or you wind up lying about your life, lying about your existence, and that's no real friendship. Because what value are you to a man if you're no value to yourself? That too. Like, please, if you feel like this is a problem with the high value man argument, right? Because for the most part, if you run up on a man that's already high value and you're not on equal footing, he's not going to see you as a partner. He's going to see you as a subordinate. And yes, I submit to my husband, but he does not see me as a subordinate. He sees me as his wife. Now, yes, in the hierarchy of things, I am subordinate to him. Absolutely. When it comes to law and order, yes, I am subordinate. He is my head. But when it comes to our natural life and our day-to-day activity, he gives me the consideration that a wife is supposed to have. He's not out here making major decisions without me. He's not out here just building stuff and doing stuff without me. We're a team. We work together. But we're a team, we work together because we built this thing together. Okay, we built it together. Print doctors, top tier parties, Mono's West Side Bullies, F3, B3, the House of Mono. We built this together. All praises to the Most High. Okay, and so yeah, I get equal consideration. Yeah, this is 50-50. I was here with you building this. But if I just happen to walk upon this treasure, then how are you any different from anyone else that's just coming by to see what they can get? And this is what I'm saying. And even with that, wanting a man to come wanting a man to come and help you deal with the things that you don't want to deal with. Ma'am, let me tell you something. And I'm gonna just have to be honest with you. Like, those of y'all that are out here living like that, You usually run into men who are living the same way. Don't want to take care of their responsibilities, just want to deal with other things, don't want to deal with natural things. You just want to deal with spiritual and metaphysical matters because that's easier to deal with than the natural. He won't pay his rent, but he can sit here and try to explain to you how the pyramids line up with the stars and how they were an energy portal. He can talk to you about that stuff all day long. He can go into conspiracy theories and tell you who shot JFK and MLK and everybody else, but the lights is off at the house. And what's crazy is because y'all both on that same vibe, y'all will hook up. And then it's two adults sitting up there with the lights off in the house. Running from the basics only leads you into more complicated problems. If I don't have a toilet and people are defecating just anywhere they want to, well, now we have odor. Odor turns into disease. Now people are dying. Whereas if you would have just took the time to do it right, or even listen, you might not have got it right the first time, but once you realize that something was wrong, well, let me go put a commode in there. They didn't even bother to dig up a latrine. You know, a latrine is like basically a line in the dirt that you use to go to the bathroom. They didn't even bother to build that. Because they were so caught up on just being able to do whatever they wanted to do and presenting however they wanted to present that the even something as small to you and me, it should be something small to you and me, a routine, something as routine as your hygiene gets ignored. And I don't, I'm not going to try and twist this and make this a spiritual message because at the end of the day, it's not. At the end of the day, this is very much about taking care of your natural business. When you make yourself a single mother, it is your responsibility to provide shelter for those children. I had a conversation with a sister and it was really heartbreaking. It broke my heart because it gave me insight into what we're missing as mothers. How we're not taught to put our children first. We're taught to be independent. We're taught to chase a bag. We're taught to try to make a career. And yes, you should do that before you have children. See, that's the thing here. Like we get so caught up in wanting to be a certain thing, live a certain lifestyle, but once you have children, now their life and their lifestyle is the main priority, not you and what you want anymore. I'm sure that you have dreams of being rich and famous and all that good stuff. And I'm here to tell you that that does not come before your children. Stop looking at these rap girlies and these reality TV girlies and feeling like, oh, if they could do it, I can do it too. You don't know what they're doing. That's what I be telling them. Stop comparing yourself to other people. You don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Now, I'm not saying that, listen, some people are very apparent. I feel like me and my husband, we're very upfront. We keep it real with y'all. Ain't no faking, ain't no front. You can go through my social media timeline. I'm in the same house all the time. I'm in the same car. Ain't nothing rented. We own everything. Okay, these is our businesses. Like, we're not faking. We're not fronting about nothing. I'm coming speaking to you because I feel led of the Most High. If not, I would be upstairs watching Matlock or something right now. Okay, I don't have time to fake. I don't have time to front. Listen, God has given me too much mercy. He has been too patient with me. So I'll be doggone if I'm gonna get this far finally living a peaceful, happy, joyful, content life and be playing with him about his people. Okay? That's not what this is about. I need us to get it together. We are the mothers. We're supposed to be training up the next generation. And have you seen the condition of the I just watched a video earlier, this boy passing out because he was gonna be tried as an adult for murder, and I think he was like 12 or 13 years old. What are we doing? Where is your mind? When it comes to your child, what are you thinking about? I was talking about looking for summer camps for the boys. We're gonna put them in summer camp. Angelina, shalom and shalom, sis. Thank you for joining me. We're gonna put the boys in summer camp so they can socialize with kids their age, on an everyday basis. They do now, but not every day. So let's take them to summer camp, blah, blah, blah. And I was on the phone with somebody and they suggested this one place. And I was like, I don't know about that. And I was like, wow, what's wrong with it? And I said, I want my children to be in the best environment that we can afford. Okay. And they was like, well, that's kind of uppity of you. Then call me uppity. Okay. Listen, people who reach a certain status in life, they keep their children separated from everyone else because they don't want you and your hood rapping don't know the alphabet, can't read, but know every rap lyric that little baby. They don't want that ignorance around their children influencing their children. Okay? And guess what? As a Black mother, you have a right to feel the same way. You are not obligated to stay in the hood. You're not obligated to make sure that your kids have friends in the hood. No, listen, the hood is not where you're from. Okay, you don't have to know the hood in order to be Black and keep it real. We have to come away from that. My boys have never been in the hood. They've never lived in the hood. They've never lived in an apartment. My boys have never lived in an apartment even. That don't make them any less Black than my daughters who went through the struggle with me. And I'm not going to make them feel like they have to resort back to that behavior in order to validate them as Black men. And so call me uppity. I'm not taking my kids to the hood. Summer camp, school, Bible camp, weekend adventure, Boy Scouts. I'm not doing it. Call me uppity. Faith, shalom, and shalom. Somebody call me Ray Ray. You must know me for real. 'Cause I don't let people call me Ray Ray. I'm not doing it. Call me uppity. But when are we gonna wake up and decide to make a change? We always, yes, we're Bible believers. Yes, we feel like we should, I feel like, and I hope you feel like we should return to the ways of the Bible as much as we possibly can. But like my good sis said earlier, we are still living here on earth. Look at the people around you, the people who have been successful, and see the practices that they put in place. They're very careful about who their children socialize with. That's why they're so careful about the zip code that they move into. They want their children to be around people who are being raised by like-minded parents. Why doesn't your child deserve the same as much as you can afford it to? I don't feel obligated to expose my children to poverty, cheese sandwiches, and boxes of chocolate milk. I don't feel the need to do that. I feel like I had enough of that experience for all of us. I'll tell them about it, but I'm not going to romanticize it. I'm not going to idealize it. I'm not. I want better for my generations. Let me tell you something that used to happen to me. Hey, I'm Faithy. Oh, sorry. Hey, I'm Faithy. Nothing wrong with wanting the best for your kids and keeping them from certain environments. Exactly. When I was little, I would say things like, I'm never gonna do that. I don't want to do that. Da 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 da. And there was always someone around that, don't say that. Oh, you think you too good. Da 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 da. Listen, I'm the total opposite with my kids. When my daughters turn their nose up and say, I don't ever want to be a single mom. Yes, baby, you absolutely right. You do not. I'm not having sex till I get married. That's nasty. You're right. It's nasty. Do not have sex until you get married. A lot of y'all feel bad. You live in the regret. And so you begrudge your children the chance to grow and make different decisions. And shame on you for that. Shame on you, because how dare you not encourage your child to do better and to do different? Listen, just because you dropped out of high school don't mean that your kid can't graduate from the Ivy League. If that's what they want to do, why would you discourage them from that? Why would you make them feel like anything is too good for them? Yes, we're Black. Yes, we're at a disadvantage. But baby, listen, if that's what you want to do, then we're gonna ride it until the wheels fall off, and we're gonna do that. But y'all will sit there and turn your nose up like, oh, you think you too good for this? You think you too good to live in the projects? You think you too good? Yes, my child is too good. And again, it's not about being better than people. It's about being better than the behavior. And then people wonder around, well, why do Black women have such low self-esteem? Look at how our mothers are talking to us. Where's our dad, first of all? And then look at how the world addresses us. What safe haven do we have if not at home? That's what you're forgetting. You're supposed to be your child's safe haven. I hate when people do stuff to their kids just to be mean, like, well, the world this and the world that. They have to face the world soon enough. Why aren't you worried about creating a safe haven for your kids? A place that they know that they can always come back to, and they're going to be loved, they're going to be accepted, they're going to be understood, and that they're going to be welcome. Why are you so determined to treat them the way that you say a stranger would treat them? That's crazy and that's backwards to me. And I get it. I understand your mama probably did it to you, and then her mama did it to her. Okay, but time out. It's time out for that. I was talking to my oldest child the other day, and she was saying, like, she appreciates our conversations and how open I am when we talk. And, she doesn't understand why my mother isn't like that. And so I had to explain to her that in my generation, we finally started recognizing mental health and emotional health in the Black community. Because the way I grew up, it wasn't none of that. You depressed, get your depressed behind up and wash them dishes. I remember one time one of my cousins told her mother, my aunt, that she wanted to unalive herself. She said, well, just wait 2 years so the life insurance policy will cover it. There was no, it wasn't no, let's talk about it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, girl, whatever, get out my face. I don't have time for that. Okay, but we as a people should be past that now. Okay. And so you may recognize some of that behavior in yourself if you're a single mom that's out here struggling. Look at it and let that be your impetus to change. Because think about it, if you didn't have to work 2 and 3 jobs, you may have the time to be there for your children. So let that be your impetus to change your behavior going forward. Listen, they got school online now, ma'am, sis, cousin. You can take classes online. You can get Google certifications. Stop worrying about the DEI and Donald Trump and Elon Musk and everything that they're doing. And you say you got faith in the Most High, and keep your faith in the Most High that he's going to make a way for you. But when the opportunity presents itself, you have to take it, because that be the way that he be making. I'm sitting here telling you about these certifications. maybe the light bulb is going off in your head like, oh, I need to check on it. Okay, that may be a way that God is making for you to go. The way ain't always going to be what you think it is. The way is not going to come knocking on your door and asking you to take some money. No, you got to get up and do the work. But it's worth it to do the work. It is so much better when I don't exercise, I feel like crap on the inside. I feel like crap on the inside. Everything hurts. I'm tired. But when I work out, buddy, after I take that shower and do my hair, you can't tell me nothing. And so I want you to experience the wholeness of tending to your insides as well as your outside. Experience the wholeness of attending to your basic needs. Do you know how wonderful it is to have all your bills paid? And I'm going to tell you something. My husband takes care of all our bills. Okay? He takes care of all our bills right now. So it's never on my mind. Do you know how wonderful of a feeling that is to know that your bills are paid, nothing's late, nobody coming to get your stuff? That is an awesome feeling, and I want that for all of you. Okay? So stay in your word. I'm not telling you to not be in your word. I'm not telling you not to pray. I'm not telling you to ignore your obligations to the Most High. Hear what I'm saying. But your natural needs have to be a priority also. Paying your bills, cleaning your home, and making sure you have a home. Trying to secure safe transportation. Okay, I'm talking about those of us who don't live in a major metropolitan area where you could just hop on. I'm gonna say for me, like if you live anywhere besides New York City, you need a car. Okay, that's just for me. All right, especially those of y'all with children. I forgot who I was listening to or whatever, but they were talking about how parents don't realize how important it is to have a car just so you can go to the emergency room if you need to. Like, God forbid something's going on with your child and you got to sit there and wait and you're stuck. So let's work on that. Of course, repent, turn away from your sins. Keep the commandments, keep the law, study your word, and handle your business, ladies. Handle your business. Atticus and Paxton, everyone. I'm sorry, I wasn't ignoring y'all comments. Please be better than me. Exactly. Do everything better than I did. And that's why I'm so open with my kids. Because how can they do better if they don't know the truth? You understand what I'm saying? So, absolutely. That's how you protect and guide them, right? Put the work in. Nothing is going to be handed to you. Don't look for any handouts, okay? You can look for things for doors to open. Yes, doors will open for you, but handouts, no, that ain't it. Anna and Pax, love you guys. Say hey to Auntie Angelina. Oh. All right, well, thank y'all so much for hanging out with me this evening. Hey, Clobo, what you gotta say?
I miss you, Auntie Angelina.
Oh, that's so sweet of you. He's this guy right here. Hey, Chloe. Hey,
Who's Chloe?
Chloe. That's what she called herself. I don't know why. That's what she called herself. Say hey, see Brianta right there. Right there at the bottom.
Did she ever come over?
No, she hasn't been here yet, but hopefully we'll get to meet her at F3 this year. You know why, girl. Anyway, no, we did B3. That was last November. We haven't did anything this year yet. No. Ew. Huh?
The fireworks on F3.
Yeah, fireworks. She said, "All my babies, I miss you too." Oh, so hopefully Auntie Angelina will be here for F3 this year. Most High willing. The plans are underway. I can't really talk about anything yet, but the plans are being planned. Okay, so I hope you guys are preparing yourselves as well. Y'all got anything to say? Go to sleep. You got anything to say, Atticus?
Can please everybody be to F3, including you, Auntie Angelina?
I think she's coming. We were talking a few weeks ago about her picking out her outfits. So I think she is coming. See, okay, Brianna says she's coming, Lord willing. Yeah, I hope to see all y'all at F3 this year. And whatever else we have going on this year. There are some things that the House of Mono is working on, and we will keep you guys posted. You guys got anything to say?
Never disrespect the law, statutes, and commandments.
All praises to God. You going back to bed? You in the bed? Okay, well, Paxton's going back to bed. All right. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me tonight. I hope that something that I said was helpful for you on today. I know I nerded out about the whole Louis the 14th and Versailles thing. Y'all know I get into my history stuff, and I just I wanted to prepare a whole slideshow, okay? But then I was like, wait a minute, this is not about Versailles. Stick to the topic. So, I hope it was helpful for you. Whether you're listening live or on the replay, thank you so much for hanging out with me this evening. I will be back, Lord willing, next Thursday, same black time, same black station. Stay safe out there. What else? Anything else, you guys?
Can Chloe not say hi to me?
If you're in the Metro Atlanta area and you're looking for bouncy houses, don't forget to hit us up at Top Tier Parties. We also do custom screen printing for apparel with our company, The Print Doctors. If you are following myself or my husband, we have a puppy available, who's the son of Maccabee, who's one of our big time bullies. I love me some Maccabee, and this is his son. Not only is this Maccabee's son, I did the insemination, okay? So it's kind of like my son too a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for loving my hair. It's kind of like my son too a little bit, but he is available. So we posted some pictures so you can take a look at that. I think that's it. All right. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me. Listen, if you have topics or you come across some interesting video clips, my husband always sends me stuff and I never show it to y'all, but I promise I'm gonna get better. But please send them to me. You can DM me. I'm at Miss Mono's World on all your social medias, and I can be reached at email missmonosworld@gmail.com. Okay, it's time for me to take this bum to sleep. Can you get off me? Is that Daddy?
Hi.
Husband, were you coming in? Husband. I guess not. All right. I love y'all so much. Shalom, shalom, and good night.
Doing gang things.
Mono.
Living super clean. Daddy came
One time for my king doing king things. Mom these hoes cause he know he got a good thing.
Tune in to Why Boaz Don't Want Your Ass with your host, Miss Mono.
Shalom and shalom, sisters and cousins, and praise the Lord saints. It's your favorite housewife, Miss Mono.
Every Thursday from 8 to 10 p.m. live on YouTube at Miss Mono's World and Monologue Magad. Now also available on the Saya TV on Roku and Fire Stick. Why Boaz Don't Want Your Ass.